say, that looks delicious, Frank.
Thank you. Do you remember that guest house we stayed in at Westcliff? You needed a set of power tools we'd had breakfast.
And the black looks. I don't think she approved of us.
Didn't seem to worry you.
No, I wasn't ashamed of going on a dirty weekend. I just wasn't expecting the bed linen to match.
We had a good time, though.
We'd have had a good time in a tent in those days. It's like that when you're young. Nothing matters. All that matters is being together 24 hours a day. All that passion. It's quite frightening.
There's no law to say that we can't feel a little passion at our age. Morning, Zoe.
Morning.
I'll get you some breakfast.
No thanks, I think I'll skip it today.
Oh, I hope you're not going on my account.
No, I've got a couple of things to do before I get to work, that's all.
I'll have some coffee at least.
No, thanks.
You never told me how the poetry evening went.
Don't ask.
You're 14 years old, Scott. If you can't get dressed in time for school by now, you're in trouble.
I can walk by myself, you
Well, come on then. Morning.
Morning, hot and courier, please.
It's in the rack, love.
They get worse as they get older.
Oh, you're telling me. At least Jules gets up in the morning.
Well, she's got a bee in her bonnet about something this morning. She's determined to buy the hot and courier.
What's in it? Look at that.
Usually I have to force her to read anything.
Oh, Scott and Kelly are the same. TV, computer games, but will they read a book? No chance.
Mum, will you look at it?
Oh, what is this?
Just look.
Vegetarian shepherd's pie recipe.
Further down. What do you think?
Oh, love, that's terrific. I'm really proud of you. Hey, let's buy a few more copies in case she runs out.
You don't want to worry about Zoe. She's got a lot of things on her mind at the moment. I can't tell you it's personal, but it's nothing to do with you and me.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
You are enjoying yourself here, aren't you?
I'm having a great time.
Me too. Just like the old days.
Not exactly.
No, it's true. I suppose neither of us would be satisfied with a tatty old guest house now. Got a taste for the finer things of life.
We may not have youth on our side, but at least we've got a bit of spare cash. Or a lot of spare cash in your case.
And you don't want to think that it only goes on in London. There's lots of things to see and do up here. We hardly touched on it. There's so many things I want to show you.
Well, what I'd like to do now is go into Harrogate and do some shopping. Do you mind?
Not at all. I'll be your chauffeur.
No, I don't want to take you away from your work.
There's no point being the boss if I can't play hooky once in a while.
Maybe. But I'd save up your hooky days for something more important. The last thing you want to do is look at women's clothes.
Are you trying to get rid of me?
Don't be so silly.
Anyway, I used to go shopping with Kim. I'll be able to show you where the best shops are.
Oh, really?
She spent a lot of money on clothes, but she always got a good bargain. I remember she bought a cocktail dress once. Looked $1 million in it, but she still managed to get a 20% discount from the shop. In fact, that might be a good place to start. They've got some great stock. Suit you, too.
Frank, I'm not Kim, and I have no intention of dressing like her. No offence, but I make my own decisions on what I wear.
Of course. I was just coming for the ride.
Well, OK, if you're sure that's all it is.
I'll get my coat.
Scott, out that bathroom now.
Can I go see Kim tonight?
No.
Oh, Mum! But it's all right for me to go to the farm and see Robert Subden, isn't it, Mum?
No, not tonight, Donna.
Oh, please, please, please. What's wrong, Mum?
Oh, I'm sorry. That business with Scott and Seth really shook me up. Poachers and guns and Scott running amok while the whole thing was going on. It reminded me of home. And I thought we'd left all that behind.
He exaggerated. You know he did. They didn't really have guns, and it wasn't our fault.
No, love, it wasn't. I just worry about you, that's all.
So can I go see Kim and Robert?
All right.
Great. Thanks, Mum.
Now, where's that lad? Scott, if you're not out of that bathroom in 10 seconds flat, I'm coming to get you.
How she flushes him down the loo.
Hello, Chris. What can I do for you?
I think you know the answer to that.
Oh, still on about those shares, are you? Well, it's not a very good time for me to talk at the moment. I've got Peter sick in bed.
Oh, yeah? How is he?
A lot better, but he's starting to get bored. He's got records, tapes, jigsaws.
Have you thought about my offer?
Of course.
Well, have we got a deal, or haven't we?
I don't know. It might take a bit more consideration. It's a lot of money, 30,000.
You can afford it.
Plenty of other places I could invest my savings, though.
It's a sound business. It's weathered the recession. We'll be doing even better once things are picking up.
I don't argue with that. Makes a strange time for you to be bailing out, though.
I'm not bailing out. It's still a good deal for you. You're going to have to make your mind up, though. I can't keep the offer open forever.
Don't try that one, Chris. If there was anyone else likely to buy those shares, you wouldn't have come to me.
Not that desperate. If you can't come up with the money, I'll find another way.
Hang on.
What?
Before you start planning to rob a bank, you could give me a moment to make a couple of phone calls.
Eh?
Well, I'll need to talk to my accountant and solicitor. Come back this afternoon. I'll give you my decision then.
Hey, Zoe.
Do you want some tea?
No thanks, I'll just take a look at that 6 sheep of yours, if that's all right with you.
Yeah. Are you busy?
It's all go at the moment.
Oh, that's good for the practice.
Are you going to take me over?
Yeah. No.
I'll take you.
I'm sorry I forgot to mention it. Congratulations.
How did you know?
Dad told me.
Well, I might have mentioned something when I went to see him about the farm shop.
When's it due?
March.
If Sarah decides to have a home birth, perhaps you could deliver it for us.
Once was enough, thank you.
Elsa Fellman didn't have any complaints about you, did she, love?
Leave her alone. Take a tip from me, Zoe. Don't have kids. The pregnancy I can handle. It's what it does to the man in your life that's such a pain in the neck.
I thought I'd just better check the details for Sergeant MacArthur's party.
Mr. Turner?
Now, they'll be in the wine bar, of course, but knowing the local constabulary as I do, I'm sure one or two of them will come in here for the odd pint. If they do, will you make sure that they're back in there in time for the presentation?
Yes, Mr. Turner. Have you seen the courier this morning?
No. Now Lynn's not with us. Shirley's going to come over and help with the preparation for the food.
I've got a spare copy in case yours wasn't delivered.
No, it was, but I just haven't had time to read it.
Well, I think
Now,
you
if I was-
should.
What?
Look at the newspaper.
Oh, very well. I'll obviously never get any peace until I do.
Page 7. Good, isn't it?
Yes, excellent. Well, it's a bit on the fat side, of course, but I mean, that's what caricatures are for, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
A tribute to one of North Yorkshire's leading pubs.
They're having a competition for the best cartoon of your favourite pub landlord.
and I'm the person? Right. Well, I think I'll leave you to open up, Carol.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to the malt trouble. Make sure Ernie Shuttleworth's got his copy.
Hello.
Hi.
No work today?
Oh, it's my lunch hour. Taking Alice for a picnic.
Oh, well, I hope the weather holds out for you.
Hi.
Hi. Just came to check everything was all right for your court hearing.
I'm just going to iron my suit, ready for it.
What did Dad's solicitor say to you?
He told me to plead guilty. That's why I'm ironing the suit. He said I might do better if I look respectable. I did think of hiring a vicar's outfit, but Frank said that was over the top.
Yeah, well, if he's any good, he could give his name to Julie. Sounds like she'll be needing a good solicitor. Barry's going in his contact order. She's pretty upset about it.
Can understand that. I reckon the courts will grant it the way things are.
Yeah, well, that's not what she's fighting, really. She's just concerned that he'll only see her once and then get bored. Never see her again. It's not good for Rebecca, is it?
Just as she's got used to having her dad around, he disappears again.
It's just too it to be awkward if you ask me. Right, you. Put them toys down. We're going for our picnic. Come on, Daddy. Oh, there's a good girl. Right, we'll be back about 1:30. See you later.
Have a nice time. We'll talk about it then.
What?
The poetry evening.
It was an absolute disaster.
Well, you got to read one of your poems then, did you?
I was too terrified to say anything most of the time. And then, when this woman came up to speak to me, I practically bit her head off. I didn't mean to. I was just so nervous.
So you won't be giving it another try then?
No chance. They must have all thought I was a real stroppy idiot. If I never see any of them again, it'll be too soon.
What next? Have you talked to your dad about it?
He seems to have other things on his mind at the moment.
I had a great morning.
Yeah, so did I.
You were bored, I could see.
Well, I enjoyed the company. if not the shopping.
I never intended to buy half this much.
Well, it's my fault for encouraging you. Mind you, you did look lovely, you know?
A lovely price, too. It's going to be a shock when the bills come in.
Ah, that's no problem. Let's call it a present from me. I've been meaning to buy you something anyway.
It's a sweet thought, Frank, but no thanks.
Don't be silly, I can afford.
I know, but then I'm not exactly on the bread line myself, and I'd never have bought that if I thought you were going to pay for it.
Okay. Then I'll have to find something else to surprise you.
Why don't I cook us something for lunch? Give you a chance to put your feet up.
Oh, don't waste your time in the kitchen. We'll eat out. I've told you I've got lots of plans.
Yes, you've told me.
I thought we might go over to Whitby. Find somewhere really nice to stay.
I'm a bit tired after all that shopping.
Ah, all right. We'll go next week.
Frank, I won't be here next week. I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong. It's been great. But I'm going back to London next week.
Sorry. I seem to have made a bit of a fool of myself here.
No, really.
Well, that's what it looks like from where I'm standing. And I reckon you're just as much to blame as I am.
Yes, maybe.
So why did you lead me on if you didn't care for me? Just tell me that.
Of course I care about you, Frank. I've never stopped caring about you.
I find that hard to believe.
It's the truth. When I look at you, I see us as we used to be.
So why fight it?
I'm not. I've loved reliving it. But I wouldn't want to see it through to the end. I don't want all the pain of splitting up a second time around.
There's nothing to say that it has to end up like that this time.
Do you really believe that? You haven't been honest with me, Frank.
What are you talking about?
No, it's all right. I forgive you. There's nothing wrong with being led up the garden path if you enjoy the view. But there is something much worse, you see. You haven't even been honest with yourself. And I really can't let you get away with that.
Oh, this is a turn up for the books.
Thanks. What is?
You've been worried about your dad's love life.
I suppose it makes a change.
You don't seem very happy about it.
I am. He needs someone. He's got to get over Kim somehow.
I thought it was over.
You don't get over the love of your life just like that.
No.
Maybe I'm just being overprotective.
Don't you mind her being up at the house?
Well, it felt a bit strange at first, but I got over it. After all, Dad's had to put up with all my guests in the past.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Archie, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
Give it over. What do you think I'm going to do? Burst out crying?
Well...
Come on. You're the sensitive one, not me. Lighten up.
You're right, I know.
Stop worrying about your dad. He'll be fine.
You're still pretty shaken up by your divorce, aren't you?
I'm not. If your life gets turned upside down, it's bound to take a while to come to terms with it.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Maybe. But it's got nothing to do with you and me.
It's got everything to do with it. When you and I first met up again, you couldn't wait to parade me in front of Kim.
We just happened to run into her, that's all.
I tried telling myself that too. But when you started talking about her this morning, I decided that it was time I faced up to the truth. You're still in love with her, aren't you? Your silence speaks volumes.
Seems to me it doesn't make much difference. Either way, it's over.
For her, maybe. I wouldn't know about that, but it certainly isn't over for you. And it won't be until you face up to the truth.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to do. I've got to start again, haven't I? You and me get on pretty well. I'd settle for that.
Trouble is, I wouldn't. Half of you isn't good enough for me, Frank. And I don't think it would work out for you in the long run either. You've tried escaping before. Into work or into a bottle. Trying to relive your youth with me would be even worse.
So what's left? Well, you tell me, I might as well top myself now.
Don't be pathetic. It doesn't suit you. You're a fighter. You're going to come out of this one way or another.
Well, I'm glad you've got confidence in me.
You're already halfway there. You've proved you're still a ladies' man. A bit worn around the edges, but then that can be quite attractive too.
Thanks.
And you don't waste all that charm on me. What was it you used to say? Never go for the hard sell on somebody who's already bought.
Friends?
Always.
Another prospective tenant.
Well, I'm living here now. He asked if I minded pets, so I thought, well, I could probably cope with a budgerigar, maybe even a kitten. But he said he'd got a ferret.
You're not fond of ferrets, then?
No, I'm not. I'm not at the breakfast table. Mind you, it's probably better house trained than its owner.
So have I still got a chance of having a room?
Well, it depends on where your job takes you.
Oh, I had my interview at Bradford today.
Oh, yeah? How did it go?
Oh, pretty well, I think. There were plenty of other candidates, though. One of them might have done even better.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thanks. So what do you want to do tonight? I could go and get us a takeaway.
No, look, it's my turn to cook for you.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Oh, sit down and shut up.
Donna! Donna! Donna!
She's around here somewhere, honestly. He's safe though, innit? Playing around livestock. Look, Robert's been brought up on a farm. He won't let her come to any harm. And our sheep have never mugged anyone yet.
Don't mind, Mum. She's a bit nervous after all that stuff with the poachers.
Yeah, we're not letting Scott anywhere near Seth again. Not if it puts him in any danger.
I do think you're overreacting a bit. It's not exactly Dodge City round here.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
And Seth would tell him to make himself scarce if there was any real trouble brewing.
I'm not worried about the girls. At least Donna won't come to any harm here. Oh, what happened?
She fell in a cow pat.
Oh, yuck.
I can lend you a tracksuit of Robert's if it'll help.
Thanks.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. Hazard of country life.
Yeah, everyone said the cost of living would be much cheaper up here. But I think the laundry bills are going to break us.
Oh, hello, Zoe. Had a good day?
Fine. I might have to go out again later.
Well, I hope you got time for a cup of tea first.
Yeah, okay.
I must go and get changed.
I didn't get a chance to hear how the poetry evening went.
No. I could see you were otherwise engaged this morning.
Yeah. Ruth's going back to London next week.
Oh, I thought...
Yeah, so did I for a while. Seems like we were both wrong.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. I think it's for the best.
Are you sure about that?
She's been a good friend to me, you know, and sometimes good friends are just as important as...
Yep. That's how I feel about Archie.
I take it from what you said this morning, you're going to give up poetry.
I think I might.
Back to the drawing board.
For both of us, by the sounds of it.
You should have seen Ernie Shuttleworth's face. He was green with envy.
She's done you proud, Alan.
Hey, this could be just a start. Get your own cartoon series next.
Just as long as she sticks to harmless cartoons and not malicious caricatures.
I'm sure she's learned her lesson.
Oh, here comes the artist herself.
Everybody thinks your picture's terrific, love.
Yes, we were wondering, can I have a signed, framed copy for the bar?
It'll cost you.
Oh, you are modest.
At least you can tell Shirley I was good enough to get into the Hot and Courier for real. Hi, Buck.
Quite the local celebrity, aren't we?
Got to make the most of it whilst it lasts. You all on your own?
Yeah.
I thought Debbie would be with you.
She was for a while. Then she decided she needed to go on another training run.
She was on one when I saw this morning. She didn't look too good, Mark. She's lost a heck of a lot of weight.
It's hardly surprising. She runs every morning, swims every morning and every night. It's getting stupid. We went out for a pizza the other night. She's too tired to eat it.
You ought to tell her to slow down a bit.
I've tried. She just keeps saying that if she's going to be fit, she's got to keep training. It doesn't make sense. It's only the county orienteering, not the flipping Olympics. Pete's in bed now?
Yes, I've just got him off to sleep.
Good. Then we can get straight down to business.
Don't you want to know how he is?
Oh, of course.
Much better, thank you. Definitely on the mend.
Good. Now about these shares.
Would you like a sandwich?
No, I'd rather just get on with what I came for.
Oh, well, it'll have to wait until I've had something. You know how it is when you're running round after children all day. You never seem to get a moment to feed yourself. Sure you won't join me?
Quite sure. Thank you.
You'll have a glass of wine, though, won't you? I thought we might as well be civilised about all this.
Yeah, okay.
Dry white, OK?
Fine.
I don't know if it's a good year or anything. Maybe I should have asked Kathy. She seems to be quite an expert these days.
Did you manage to talk to your solicitor and your accountant?
Yes. We had quite a long chat.
And?
Oh, you know what those people are like. They give you all sorts of advice, but in the end, it's your own decision. So, what should we drink to?
It rather depends on what your decision is, doesn't it?
I think this is rather good, don't you?
Are you going to buy them or not?
Possibly.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means there's one little problem.
What?
My accountant seems to think that although the company's a good long-term investment, in the present economic climate, you seem to be rather overvaluing your shares.
What's wrong?
Well, that poster's not hanging straight.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. None of them are.
Well, I like them like that.
Ah. Say no more. Listen, if you decide it's okay for me to move in here, it will be on a proper basis, you know.
What do you mean?
Well, I'll just be like another tenant, really.
Yeah. So?
I didn't want you to think that I was assuming everything would go back the way it was between us. I know how much I upset you.
Look, Nish. We had a row, that's all. I'm not sorry about that. What was said needed to be said. It cleared the air between us. But it wasn't meant to be terminal.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, I'm on an early shift tomorrow.
You draw the short straw?
I suppose I better get home and get some sleep.
You don't have to go. You can stay the night if you want.
Do you really think I'm going to sell £30,000 worth of shares for 15 grand?
Why not?
I'm setting up a new business. That's why I need the 30,000. It can't be less.
That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
It's got to be 30 grand.
Sorry.
You were never really interested in buying my shares, were you?
You're not really in a position to sell them.
Of course I am. I own them.
You have one small problem, though. You have to get permission from the other shareholders. Frank would stop you.
Oh, I doubt it. 30 grand's worth of shares is not going to worry him.
It'd worry him, all right.
Are you going to buy my shares or not?
Not, I think.
You've wasted my time. Led me up the garden path.
You skipped up it, Chris.